Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I just binge watched the Winx Club series on Netflix. So today I'm going to be recreating some of Beatrix's hairstyles. So without further ado, let's just get on into it. So the first hairstyle I will be recreating is the bubble ponytail, which I have pictured here for you guys. And the key thing for this is if you have shorter hair like me, then it will make your hair seem longer if you do it as like a half up ponytail and then work your way down, so it will be closer to your head, but it will make your hair seem longer. So it's a little bit of a give and take. Otherwise, if you have longer hair, you can just do a high pony and then do your hair ties throughout that ponytail that you've just created, and it'll get you a similar effect. It'll be farther away from your head. And you could either go for more prominent looking hair ties. I only have the one type with me, so if I did have my other hair ties, I probably would have used clear ones, but I only have my black ones with me, and I actually did not hate how it turned out. I think the prominent hair ties it's a vibe, but you just want to make sure that you are pulling out your in between sections a little bit to really fluff up those bubbles. That's the main things to this hairstyle. And then for our next hairstyle, we have the bobby pin pattern. So this is probably the hardest thing to do to yourself, in my opinion. The first thing I did was I used a hair primer to just kind of get my hair in a more slicked back kind of look, because that was the main thing for this hairstyle. And it just takes a lot of readjustments of the bobby pins. For this one, you want to make sure the wavy side is up, so the flat side should be against your head. So that way it kind of stands out more. It just gives it a little bit more detail to the hairstyle. I kept forgetting, so there actually are a couple that are flipped the wrong way. But the main thing with this is just to take your time, use your picture, and be prepared for readjustments. You could add more bobby pins, less bobby pins, depending on like how many you want showing. It'll really, how close together you want the bobby pins, it'll really just affect what pattern you're able to recreate. And yeah, this one just took me some time. If you are able to have somebody else do this to you, or if you have a friend that you want to do this to, this is like a good hairstyle for that. Doing it to yourself, it's just harder to see things going on. But the final product was actually pretty cool, and I like how it both sides were really slicked back. And I think if you have like that thinner hair, it'll look especially nice, because my hair is a bit thicker and it's wavier, so it just kind of like low-key looks like a mullet or something, but still cool. So for the third hairstyle, I'm calling it the half up twist, and this one is probably my favorite of the hairstyles. So first you want to make sure you have a front section sectioned off. I'm great with words. And you're gonna create a low half up. So it's not gonna be like at the top of your head, it's gonna be to like the middle of your head. And what you want to do is, you'll be seeing, but you want to flip the ponytail in on itself in order to create that twist. And this, you just want to make sure you really have the section split before you try flipping it, otherwise you will create some knots. And there actually is like a hair tool. It basically looks like a giant needle, but it does help create those twists. So if you have one, it's useful. You do not by any means need one though. So after you have that twist created, you're going to be taking the front sections and you're going to wrap it around the ponytail before you pin it. And what I did was I wrapped it around the ponytail, and then when it came back out to that same side I took the hair from, I pinned it there. But if you wanted to wrap it a couple more times, you could do that. I think it's just easiest and kind of looks cleanest in a way, where you just wrap it around like the one. And I like that my bangs fell out just a little bit. I think it adds like a little more of like a loose, casual look to it. But yeah, this was my favorite hairstyle. I think it's definitely interesting and it adds a bit more detail than your typical half up. And then for the fourth hairstyle, I called it the parted braided headband, which is very descriptive. So you want to have a middle part, and then you're going to be French braiding the front section. You can just tie back the rest of your hair. You will not need it. So for this, if you want a more prominent braid rather than like a loose one, you would braid smaller pieces, and when you're gathering, you want to gather straight across. So in a normal front braid, you would almost gather in like a triangle at the top of your head if you're just doing like a middle French braid down your head. But for these, you want to gather like straight across and braid that way. You could either gather from both sides of your braid, or you can gather from just the front, so you're only gathering on one side. So there's a bit of like options with this one depending on how you want your hair gathered. It'll affect the look of it a little bit, but once you have that braid, you're just gonna pin it. I definitely behind the ear, I went for the base of my neck, the nape of my neck, just because that was the most secure for me and I knew it wasn't gonna go anywhere. Always double bobby pin it when you're holding hair in place. Cross them over each other when you're pinning it. It just holds it better. And then after you have it pinned, you can pull out that braid again. So this is where it's definitely going to make a difference if you had done smaller braids, because then it'll just be more noticeable at the top of your hair, because the main part of my braid was actually covered by my hair. So I probably should have taken smaller pieces so that way the braid was a bit more noticeable at the top. But that is it for these hairstyles. Let me know in the comments which of the four was your favorite. I definitely think for me the third one was my favorite, but I also loved some of Bloom's hairstyles from this series, so I will be recreating that soon. I know some people had some qualms about the show. Personally, I cannot remember how the cartoon went, so it was just like, yeah, cool fairy show. I'm into it. So if you're expecting it to be the Winx Club, it was not, but in general, I enjoyed it. So yeah. But that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye guys.